He's a youth pastor. He's a singer. He's a songwriter. He's a dedicated dad and husband, and he's the assistant to the president at Horry Georgetown Tech. Who's our next guest? You'll meet him coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Georgetown campus of Horry Georgetown Technical College. We're focused on all of its campuses, and we're visiting with the assistant to the president, Greg Thompson. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, Greg. How are you doing?
Thanks so much for coming in.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you guys for being here. We're delighted to have you down here at Georgetown.
And thanks for driving down. Now, you live up in the Conway area, don't you?
I live up in the Conway area. My office is on the Conway campus.
Right.
Was down here today. Carolina People had to come see my buddy Greg Everett.
It's a trip. That's almost, that's 45 minutes to come down for a 7 a.m., so I appreciate you making that trip down. You know, Conway, Horry Georgetown Tech's got campus in Conway. You've got campus in Myrtle. Obviously,
That's
this primary campus down, this major campus in Georgetown.
That's right.
Any other campus locations?
Well, fairly new off-campus site at North Myrtle Beach High School, which is our fourth location. Mm-hmm. And really, the way online education has grown, we're worldwide, if you really think about things, because our online education has exploded over the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
But Conway is our largest first campus, in many cases considered our main campus. Georgetown was second, formed in the mid-1970s. Our Grand Strand campus in Myrtle Beach, now at the former Myrtle Beach Air Force Base, which physically is the largest of our campuses, has the most room to grow. We have about close to 80 acres there. And then now North Myrtle Beach High School and the North Myrtle Beach off-campus site. So we're pretty close to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, not only Horry Georgetown Tech, but even Coastal Carolina University. Your alma mater has been expanding. I think they just opened their Litchfield campus last week.
They did, and it just reflects the growth of the area. Mm-hmm. And our locations and our philosophy about where we're located is driven by our mission, which it's the mission to support the growth of the local area, growth of our local population, the needs of our local population. And as the area grows and where that growth is, because of traffic patterns and those issues that people in this area face, we try to, as much as possible, make education accessible to them.
Mm-hmm. Education's such a big word, Greg.
It is.
And it impacts at such an early age and goes through, as you know, with continuing education, virtually till death. I mean, it's a part of so many lives.
Well, you never stop learning. It may be formal or informal. I would say 90% of our education life truly is informal learning, but it should never stop. We either continue formally in education, seeking advanced degrees, seeking additional certificates and certifications, or life kind of stagnates. I always want to learn something new about myself every single day.
Real quick about yourself, Greg. Are you originally from the area?
I am a rarity in this area. I am a Conway boy, born in Conway, reared in Conway, and still thankfully live in Conway, and I love it. There are few places in the world I'd rather raise a family and live, and I love my hometown.
Speaking of a family, you still have family in Conway?
All of our family nearly is in Conway. My parents, my wife's parents, which thankfully is a good thing because we have three young children, and they're wonderful babysitters and can't get enough of their grandchildren. And our siblings, I have one sister, my wife has a sister, and they're all right in the Conway area.
Come on. They've all stayed not only in Horry County, but in the Conway area.
In the Conway area. Wow. And I've always said the good thing is that we have family close by. Mm-hmm. But of course, the challenging thing is we have family close by.
Right, absolutely.
But we have awesome family.
That's great. And as you say, your parents are able to spend a good bit of time, and your wife's parents with y'all's. How many children, Greg?
We have three.
Oh, come on.
Three, yes, absolutely. One, our oldest, Dylan, he'll be 9 in September. Bailey is 6 years old, and McKinley Grace, who actually runs our house, is 2.
Yes.
And they're just amazing. A wonderful wife, Nicole, and that is the title of which I'm most proud, the title of Daddy. Mm-hmm. So I love my kids.
That's great. So if we were, inspirations are a big thing, and it sounds like a lot of inspiration comes from your kids. That's
without a doubt.
When you think, now, is your wife, is she involved with education at all?
Well, my wife actually is a nurse, but we made the decision a couple of years ago when McKinley Grace was much younger for her to stay home. Right now we've been blessed that she's been able to be home with them. So she's involved in education in the sense that she's working with our children at home. We're not homeschooling, but as the opportunity presents itself, she's working with them in a structured way to reading and math and colors and shapes and how not to destroy your older brother's things. She's involved in education in that regard.
That she is on a daily basis. Now, and of course, you went to high schools throughout Horry County. Did you stay in the area after that?
Well, yes, I did. As a matter of fact, I graduated from Conway High School way back in 1988, which still seems hard to believe.
Yeah.
And immediately went to Coastal and enrolled at Coastal and graduated from Coastal in '92 with a degree in English when it was the year before they emancipated from the university system, and got a job at the Horry Independent newspaper in Conway immediately after graduating from college, and have progressed through the ranks and have been at Horry Georgetown. Believe it or not, September will be 7 years that I've been at Horry Georgetown.
Is that right?
And completed my master's degree just last year, which was an interesting experience to complete your master's degree while working and maintaining a family and other obligations in our lives. But I've been right here.
What did you do that master's work in?
My master's degree is in human relations and business, which is kind of a tripod degree. It's in communications, it's in business, marketing primarily, and then the other aspect is in the human relations aspect. My focus was in leadership and sociology. I love the study of how people think and what drives people. But I started at the University of South Carolina. I started the MBA program in the School of Business there, and realized that I and statistics were not good bedfellows. And I transferred and actually completed my degree online through Amberton University, which is a small private Christian college just outside of Dallas, Texas. And loved it. Absolutely loved the experience. Learned a lot about myself and a lot about life. And now I'm ready for whatever it holds now career-wise, because I have that master's degree in place and may consider a doctorate. Just a matter of what doors open and where I feel led.
John Boyd was with us, Councilman John Boyd, earlier the week, and of course we were talking about his dissertation and so much that goes into that. Of course, that's focused on educational foundations, which was very exciting.
Yeah,
talking to him about that. And of course, folks who get that bug when you're in a master's program, oftentimes, as you say, just go on, continue studying.
You do, or you find something that piques your interest. Like I said, my love and one of my passions is knowing what makes people think, which plays perfectly into my role at the college, because I'm also responsible for our marketing and our public relations function. So the psychographic side of things, not just demographics, not just knowing that our students are 26 or 25 or 24, mostly female, not that data so much as why are they making the decisions that they're making? Because when you really know how people are thinking, that's when you can affect positive change.
That's powerful, absolutely. And you were able to pick up some of that through that master's program.
Absolutely. I sure was. My focus was leadership. I like to look at organizations. I like to see how organizations are structured and to know some of the organizational dynamics that go in. Particularly like a college our size, we're now close to 300 full-time employees. You add all the part-time employees in as well, and we're over 500 people. Well, get 500 people together in an organization. And everyone says, well, we know what our common mission and vision is, and you don't always. And it's interesting to look at the dynamics that go on in that kind of situation.
How has that been for you? Obviously, having attended college there, virtually on the back door of Tech's main campus there in Conway, having attended Coastal, and now being there. Any similarities when you think about the activities, of course, of students?
Well, it's not similarities so much as just a unique perspective, because our college is Horry Georgetown Technical College is a local college. 4 out of every 5 students are residents of Horry and Georgetown County. But I lived in Conway, worked at Myrtle Beach, went back and forth and passed Tech all the time. Never really thought about it, didn't know that much about it. So it's given me a unique perspective now, in my opinion, to know the mindset of most of the people in this area that we're trying to reach now. I know what the things that are motivating many of them, and I know what kind of lifestyle patterns they have, and so having gone to Coastal and being from the area, now working at Tech, I've got some great relationships with the people at Coastal.
Right.
Respect so many of them. It was really a foundational time in my development.
Mm-hmm.
But then to be at Tech now, I can respect the role that they play. Then also our uniqueness, and at the same time realize where we fit, providing education for locals in our area.
And you just threw out a powerful figure there. You said 4 out of 5 students at Horry Georgetown Tech
4 out of every 5
are coming out of Horry and Georgetown counties.
Coming out of Horry and Georgetown counties, and of that number, still, well, of our total students, about 90% stay here in this area upon graduation. So I like to throw, I'm in marketing, I like to throw on the phrase that we're keeping the community in college, but we really are.
Yeah.
When you're talking about making an impact on the local community and local people, Horry Georgetown Technical College is a place that's doing that.
And you're not talking about the continuing ed folks. You're talking about the full-time students there.
Right. This past, and here's another shocking statistic, this all weaves together. This past academic year, last fall, spring, and summer, we had over 7,000 different students enrolled in curriculum classes at the college. A lot of people don't realize how large we are.
No.
We are the 4th largest technical college in the state of South Carolina. But we had over 7,000. Of that number, 4 out of every 5 are Horry and Georgetown County residents. That's not counting the 15,000 plus students who are enrolled in continuing education classes throughout the year. So you're talking about differentiated numbers, as many as 20,000 different people right here in Horry and Georgetown County in a single year, Greg.
That's incredible.
Track it back over a decade,
Yeah.
and think about the impact. It's amazing.
That is incredible. I don't think I understood the impact of Horry Georgetown.
It makes me proud, but it humbles me at the same time that we really are having such an impact and have such a reach in our community.
Well, you think about the other. Oh, and I want to get back to that real quick. What was it like working at a community newspaper there in Conway, coming out of college?
Well, that was a unique experience. I literally graduated from Coastal with my bachelor's degree, and I suppose it was in May, as I recall. And the week after that, my mom said, "Hey, I didn't really know what I was going to do. I wanted to teach high school English, I thought, and I found that my personality wasn't going to fit into the K through 12 structure. So I just went with a straight English degree. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. Considered law school.
Right.
As I've joked around, then I got my mind back. No, I still enjoy the law, but saw a classified ad running in the local Horry Independent newspaper for a writer. Well, hey, I can apply. And little did I know that one of the references I put on there was one of my professors from college who was also freelancing for the paper.
No.
So I called back on Monday, and they wanted me to come back in, and the rest is kind of history. But then when you go into news, as you may have gotten a little bit of experience in this, particularly when you're reporting, and I was a political writer. I covered the county, and I covered Conway City and police and those kinds of things.
Right.
You lose your identity a little bit. You walk into rooms and everyone clams up. They're afraid what you might print, and I am such a people person that just didn't work for me.
Oh, yeah.
So I was there. They were such wonderful people. Wonderful developmental time for me. Few jobs can prepare you for real life more than working at a local newspaper.
Right.
Because you do it all.
Yeah.
You do your own photography, you do your own writing, you get involved in typesetting, you help lay out ads, you do a little bit of everything. It was a wonderful foundational experience, but after a few years, it was time to move on.
Yeah, and you moved straight into Horry Georgetown Tech.
In essence, there was a year or so lapse in between there where I was with different organizations.
Right.
Was at Horry Georgetown Tech in '97.
I think an even more exciting thing, we've only got about 10 minutes, Greg, but aren't you the youth pastor at Grand Strand Baptist Church there in Myrtle Beach?
I absolutely am. I love my job at the college, and I'm blessed to have the job, and I love the people that I work with, and I'm passionate about what I do. But youth pastoring there is my calling, and my wife and I'm blessed because when God called me, He also called my wife, and it takes a partnership, no doubt about it. In fact, if you call anyone who calls our house now, my wife has left the message on our answering machine that with 3 kids and 20 adopted kids, and we're talking about the core of our youth group. Yeah. We stay pretty busy, but at Grand Strand Baptist Church in Myrtle Beach.
That's fantastic. And you've been doing that for...
Well, officially, I started that in May, the 1st of May. I've been one of the youth workers there for a couple of years, and my wife and I have been there for almost 5 years as part of the church, but officially since May. It's been wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
I saw in something that was written about you where it said you lead the groups, the church's 24-15 youth ministry program. What exactly is that, Greg?
24-15, it was actually inspired out of Joshua 24:15. It's one of those verses most people might not remember, but it's the one that if it seems evil to you today, if it seems evil to you to serve the Lord, then choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve. And it ends with, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Right. And so it's a ministry that really calls the kids to accountability to each other and to God, and holding them to standards that most kids aren't used to being held up to. Mm-hmm. So, but it's exciting, and they've been responding well, and I absolutely love it, which you can probably tell.
Yeah, that's great. Now, Greg, I also see that you're a Christian musician and songwriter.
Yeah.
How do you have time to do all this?
Basically, a couple of years ago, I gave up sleep. I found it was overrated. No, I haven't really written anything in a while, but I've written some for some local folks. Russell and Chrissy Johnson are dear friends of mine out of Myrtle Beach Community Church, and I've been recorded on a number of their albums, and some different recordings in different places, but it's just something that I've always enjoyed doing, and still pick up the guitar from time to time and fiddle with it, but not in any focused way anymore, because my calling really is in youth pastoring.
Wow, that must be wild, having a calling in something that fortunately you're able to really commit a good bit of time to, as well as having a day-to-day activity which you love so much, focused on the locals in Horry and Georgetown County.
Yeah, blessed is the absolute only word to describe it, without a doubt.
Share with viewers real quick, we've got about 8 minutes, Greg, what is it about a technical college that makes it so tied into the community?
The people. That's the most concise way to say it. Horry Georgetown Technical College, and that's the college I know, but the technical college in general is a blue-collar institution. That's a good way to describe it. It's a blue-collar institution. It's increasingly more of a first-choice institution, as four-year institutions, tuition rates are going higher and higher and higher, and more people are coming to us and then transferring on. But we have a lot of second-chance students who've gone off to four-year institutions and partied a bit too hard, or didn't apply themselves, or just simply weren't ready. And they come back to us, and we help them bone up on their skills and everything, and then they go back out to where they need to be. Or in many cases today, Greg, you've got about 10% of our student body already has a bachelor's and or master's degree. And employers today want skills. They're not so much concerned about the sheepskin hanging on the wall as, well, what can you do to help my business? But the way we're tied into the community is that we're affecting the people who are the real blue-collar foundation of the community. We're not the PhD researcher institution, but we're the technicians who are actually implementing the research. And by the same token, we keep our finger on the pulse of area business. Every single one of our curriculum programs of study has a business advisory committee, or has an advisory committee, and each year, these are individuals who are actually out in the community. If it's nursing, you've got nurses and you've got doctors actually serving on that committee. They are required to meet at least once each year, usually twice, to review our curriculum, to see, well, this isn't relevant anymore, we're not using this technology, we're going to this, and instantly we're able to transform our curriculum to adapt to those needs. So employers know that our graduates are prepared in what's current. And so we stay on the cutting edge of what business needs, what the workers need, what the employers need, and what workers need as well. So we're the linchpin of economic workforce development, I believe.
Absolutely. And we're talking about both counties, and when you're talking about cutting edge, Georgetown campus right here. It's got a big wing that'll be completed next summer. Next summer.
That's the Eleanor S. Armstrong Allied Health and Nursing Wing. Great partners, the Georgetown Hospital System Board of Directors. They have been so supportive of us. They contributed they've committed $1 million to that project, to that $2 million wing. That's going to allow us to expand our nursing education, our rad tech, surgical tech, some others that escape me at the moment. But it's to provide jobs and to provide training. They desperately need skilled healthcare workers. And obviously, if you know the situation in this county with double-digit unemployment, they need jobs, and they don't need $6 and $7 jobs. They need those $30,000 to $40,000 jobs, and that's what we're trying to help provide. But that's being designed right now. Rosenblum Co. Architects out of Charleston are working on that project, and we hope by July of 2005 to open the doors to that. That's exciting.
And then, of course, the Grand Strand's got a big facility to be coming on about 2 years from now.
Through the support of the Myrtle Beach Air Force Base Redevelopment Authority, we acquired the former Air Force Base Hospital.
Right.
Horry County has approved us issuing up to $3 million in bonds. And the Redevelopment Authority has also contributed additional funds, and we basically have the $6 million in hand needed to renovate that facility.
Wow!
And so we're starting the thinking process, the design process. We hope by 2006 to have that completely finished and relocate our Horry County programs of study, healthcare programs of study, to that facility. Mm-hmm. And that's exciting to get those faculty and those students all together, so that synergy can begin, and that the efficiency, the economies of scale that comes from joining all those together, and that's on the horizon.
Great. We got about 5 minutes. If a viewer had to leave right now to get to work, what's a phone number they could call to learn a little more about some of the new programs coming online in the fall, or a website they could visit?
Okay. Well, our website is just hgtc.edu. Really easy to remember, hgtc.edu. Generally, the best number to call for additional information is our admissions office at the Conway campus. It's 843-349-5277. They can tell you all about our new programs of study, digital arts, emergency medical technician, our online business degree, which is a first for us this year. Mm-hmm. They can give you all that information. They can mail out packets. You can register online now. You can apply to the college online. You can register online, complete that entire process online, trying to make it easy.
Sure, and if a viewer of ours was calling from the PD or even southeastern North Carolina, you'd probably have some phone numbers for the technical colleges up in the PD or the community colleges up
absolutely.
in Robinson and Scotland County. Sure.
Absolutely. We're not territorial in that regard. We're part of a 16-member system, and if we don't provide it, we will tell you that and refer you somewhere else. Or if you're better served, because frankly, someone from Marion right now may pay out-of-county rates for tuition here that are going to be a little bit higher, but they can go to Florence Darlington and pay in-county rates, and
sure.
that's advisable for them. We're about helping people.
Sure. Greg, what about some new programs for the fall? You got any big things rolling out?
Yeah, well, I name-dropped a second ago. Digital arts, brand new. Dr. Gary Davis, who was one of our VPs, he's gone back to teaching, and he has just really hit the highways trying to promote that program of study. It's going to be at our Grand Strand campus, and digital arts is going to give students, it could have been called commercial arts in the past, but it's going to give students a mix of graphic design, then they can, and those fundamental elements of design and art, and then they can tailor it if they want to get into commercial graphics, or if they want to get into multimedia development for the web, or they want to get into video television production.
Yeah.
That has gone like gangbusters.
Oh, yeah.
EMT, paramedic, another need there. That program is filling up rapidly. Machine tool operator, which is a one-year certificate program to prepare individuals for to operate complex machine equipment. The way I explain that, if you've ever seen these big shows now, Monster Garage, American Chopper, those shows, you see them take a blank aluminum hub and tailor it into this specific wheel, the specific pattern. That's the kind of machining we're talking about, operating that complex equipment, and we can prepare you to do that at Horry Georgetown Tech. And of course, I mentioned our online business degree program, which is brand new, and students from really anywhere in the world, but the focus is here in Horry and Georgetown County, can complete an associate degree of business completely online. Their time schedule, their framework. Mm-hmm. And that's a new foray for us, a new avenue for us to take, but it's been very, very well received.
Last Thursday at the board meeting, we just got a couple of minutes, Greg. Last Thursday at the board meeting, we talked about, I know you were there, obviously helping out, particularly since Dr. Davis has left to kick off digital arts. We were down here at the Georgetown campus, and the excitement, as you talked about, so many of the activities coming up for the next few years, but of course to highlight that local component of so many of the folks staying in the area, being from this area, attending classes here on a full-time basis, or on the continuing education side. It's incredible.
It is, and that's the local nature of this institution is really part of our brand identity, to throw a marketing phrase out there, that we can own. We are the local institution, and we'll be doing that. We'll be promoting that in radio. Hope to talk with some of the good folks at Myrtle Beach Herald and other places
or Independent.
To work it all in there to remind people how local we are, because now where that plays into the foundation's role is if you want to invest your dollars in local people, in promoting their well-being, their quality of life, Well, I can think of one institution where you're really, really benefiting the most local people through education and training at Horry Georgetown Technical College. I'm partial.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Greg, if you weren't currently the assistant to the president at Horry Georgetown Tech and heading up the marketing programs for the college, as well as helping out the foundation, and being the youth pastor at Grand Strand Baptist Church, what do you think you'd be doing?
Wow. I might want to host Carolina People.
Yeah, good. I need somebody.
Really, I would probably be in full-time ministry. I would say so, because, like I said, that's my passion. That's the heart that God has given me, and that's, you know, working at the college and my role at the church are very similar in that it's life changes that you're affecting. One is more practical. One is spiritual and practical as well. But I would probably be in full-time ministry. I'd like the dream job for me is something where it allows me to think all day and generate ideas and have plenty of time to spend with my wife and children and travel here and there. But who knows? But the way I look at things, God has blessed me to be in the role that I'm in every location. So I am not a person you'll ever hear complain about where I am.
That's great. Greg, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Absolute pleasure. I enjoyed it.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Greg Thompson coming up next. Born and bred in Conway, went to college in Conway, figured out law school wasn't for him, wanted to stay in the area, worked for an independent newspaper in Conway. The excitement of remaining in the area, knowing the commitment has been made to the local area, raising his 3 kids, committing time with his wife to 20 other kids. You heard him talk about Joshua, 24-15. We didn't talk about this past weekend and the rafting trip they were on with all that youth group. It's an amazing commitment to others, serving others, whether it's ministry on a day-to-day basis or all the students in the area. Greg Thompson, thanks for being with us.